between the two countries and a potentially formidable opponent for the Teutonic Knights. The order initially managed to play Ladislaw II Giugiaro and his cousin Vitortes against each other, but this strategy failed when Vitortes began to suspect that the order was planning to annex parts of his territory. The baptism of Giugiaro began the official conversion of Lithuania to Christianity. Although the crusading rationale for the order's state ended when Prussia and Lithuania had become officially Christian, the order's feuds and wars with Lithuania and Poland continued. The Lizard Union was created in 1397 by Prussian nobles in Chelmo land to oppose the order's policy. In 1407, the Teutonic Order reached its greatest territorial extent and included the lands of Prussia, Polia, Samogitia Courland, Livonia, Estonia, Gotland, Dago, Ozel, and the New Mark, pawned by Brandenburg in 1402. Decline. Battle of Grunwald in 1410. At the Battle of Grunwald, a combined Polish-Lithuanian army, led by Ladislaw II Giugiaro and Vitortes, decisively defeated the order in the Polish-Lithuanian Teutonic War. Grand Master Ulrich von Jungingen and most of the order's higher dignitaries fell on the battlefield, 50 out of 60. The Polish-Lithuanian army then began the siege of Marienburg, Malbec, the capital of the order, but was unable to take Marienburg owing to their assistance of Heinrich von Plauen. When the First Peace of Thorn worsened in 1411, the order managed to retain essentially all of its territories, although the knights' reputation as invincible warriors was irreparably damaged. While Poland and Lithuania were growing in power, that of the Teutonic Knights dwindled through infighting. They were forced to impose high taxes to pay a substantial indemnity, but did not give the cities sufficient requested representation in the administration of their state. The authoritarian and reforming Grand Master Heinrich von Plauen was forced from power and replaced by Michael Kuchmeister von Sternberg, but the new Grand Master was unable to revive the order's fortunes. After the Golub War, the Knights lost some small border regions and renounced all claims to Samogitia in the 1422 Treaty of Melno. Austrian and Bavarian Knights feuded with those from the Rhineland, who likewise bickered with Low German-speaking Saxons, from whose ranks the Grand Master was usually chosen. The western Prussian lands of the Vistula River Valley and the Brandenburg Neumark were ravaged by the Hussites during the Hussite Wars. 34. Some Teutonic Knights were sent to battle the invaders but were defeated by the Bohemian infantry. The Knights also sustained a defeat in the Polish-Teutonic War, 1431-1435. Map of the Teutonic State in 1466. In 1440, the Prussian Confederation was founded by gentry and burghers of the state of Teutonic Order. In 1454, it rose up against the order and asked Polish King Casimir IV Giugiaro to incorporate the region into the Kingdom of Poland, to which the king agreed and signed an act of incorporation in Krakow. 35. Mayors, burghers and representatives from the region pledged allegiance to the Polish king during the incorporation in March 1454 in Krakow. 36. This marked the beginning of the 13 Years' War between the Teutonic Order and Poland. The main cities of the incorporated territory were authorized by Casimir IV to mint Polish coins. 37. Much of Prussia was devastated in the war, during the course of which the order returned Neumark to Brandenburg in 1455 to raise funds for war. Because Marienburg Castle was handed over to mercenaries in lieu of their pay, and eventually passed to Poland, the order moved its base to Königsberg in Sambia. In the Second Peace of Thorn, 1466, the defeated order renounced any claims to the territories of Gdansk/Eastern Pomerania and Chelmo land, which were reintegrated with Poland. 38, and the region of Elbląg and Malbec, and the Prince-Bishopric of Warmia, which were also recognized as part of Poland. 39. While retaining the eastern territories in historic Prussia, but as a fief and protectorate of Poland, also considered an integral part of one and indivisible Kingdom of Poland. 40. From now on, every Grand Master of the Teutonic Order was obliged to swear an oath of allegiance to the reigning Polish king within 6 months of taking office. 40. The Grand Master became a prince and councillor of the Polish king and the Kingdom of Poland. 41. After the Polish-Teutonic War, 1519-1521, the order was completely ousted from Prussia when Grand Master Albert of Brandenburg converted to Lutheranism in 1525. He secularized the order's remaining Prussian territories and assumed from his uncle Sigismund I the Old, King of Poland, the hereditary rights to the Duchy of Prussia as a personal vassal of the Polish crown, the Prussian homage. Ducal Prussia retained its currency, laws and faith. The aristocracy was not present in the Sejm. Although it had lost control of all of its Prussian lands, the Teutonic Order retained its territories within the Holy Roman Empire and Livonia, although the Livonian branch retained considerable autonomy. Many of the imperial possessions were ruined in the German Peasants' War from 1524 to 1525 and subsequently confiscated by Protestant territorial princes. 42. The Livonian territory was then partitioned by neighboring powers during the Livonian War. In 1561 the Livonian Master Gotthard Ketteler secularized the southern Livonian possessions of the order to create the Duchy of Courland, also a vassal of Poland. After the loss of Prussia in 1525, the Teutonic Knights concentrated on their possessions in the Holy Roman Empire. Since they held no contiguous territory, they developed a three-tiered administrative system. Holdings were combined into commanderies that were administered by a commander, Comte. Several commanderies were combined to form a bailiwick headed by a Land Comte. All of the Teutonic Knights' possessions were subordinate to the Grand Master, whose seat was in Bad Mergentheim. There were 12 German bailiwicks: Thuringia, Oldenburg, in present-day Belgium, Hesse, Saxony, Westphalia, Franconia, Koblenz, Alsace-Burgundy, and Der Echtundimgeberg, in Tyrol, Utrecht, Lorraine, and Austria. Outside of German areas were the bailiwicks of Sicily, Apulia, Lombardy, Castle of the Teutonic Order in Bad Mergentheim, Bohemia, Romania, in Greece, and Armenia, Cyprus. The order gradually lost control of these holdings until, by 1809, only the seat of the Grand Master at Mergentheim remained. Following the abdication of Albert of Brandenburg, Walter von Kronberg became Deutschmeister in 1527, and later Administrator of Prussia and Grand Master in 1530. Emperor Charles V combined the two positions in 1531, creating the title Hochung Deutschmeister, which also had the rank of Prince of the Empire. 43. A new Grand Magistracy was established in Mergentheim in Württemberg, which was attacked during the German Peasants' War. The order also helped Charles V against the Schmalkaldic. After the Peace of Augsburg in 1555, membership in the order was open to Protestants, although the majority of brothers remained Catholic. 44. The Teutonic Knights became tridenominational, with Catholic, Lutheran and Reformed bailiwicks. The Grand Masters, often members of the great German families, and, after 1761 members of the House of Habsburg-Lorraine, continued to preside over the order's considerable holdings in Germany. Teutonic Knights from Germany, Austria, and Bohemia were used as battlefield commanders leading mercenaries for the Habsburg monarchy during the Ottoman Wars in Europe. The military history of the Teutonic Knights was to be ended in 1805 by the Article XII of the Peace of Pressburg, which ordered the German territories of the Knights converted into a hereditary domain and gave the Austrian Emperor responsibility for placing a Habsburg prince on its throne. These terms had not been fulfilled by the time-off Treaty of Schönbrunn in 1809, and therefore Napoleon Bonaparte ordered the Knights' remaining territory to be dispersed to his German allies, which was completed in 1810. Medieval organization. Administrative structure about 1350. General Kapitellratsgebeitige Hochmeister Teutonflag.svg. Kanzlei des Hochmeisters Großkonter, Magnus Commendator, Ordensmarschall, Summus Marescalcus, Großspitaler, Summus Hospitalaris, Ordensstresseler, Summus Thesrurus, Ordensstrapier, Summus Straperius, Großschiffer, Marienburg, Großschiffer, Königsberg,
Yes,
Konter.
I need to take a break. Somebody's knocking my door.